What's up guys, Hobbo88 here and welcome back to iRacing, and we're having a look at a new vehicle, and that's the latest greatest thing that iRacing has brought out, which is the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup 991. It is brand spanking new, and we're going to go and cut a few laps here at the one and only track, at the one and only track, Bathurst. So, this car, I have to say, I've just a couple of little test laps here just to make sure that everything's set up properly. And it is a hell of a lot of fun. It's as soon as I found out this car was coming to iRacing, I was excited because I've always wanted to get into GT3 racing. I've always wanted to race, you know, like the Blanc Paint series and things like that, but never have, because I just have a hard time getting my eye in on the GT3 cars, and the idea of a Carerra Cup style series coming to iRacing with this car certainly triggered my interest, because obviously Carerra Cup pretty popular around the world, and we watch plenty of it here in Australia. It runs around with all our major touring car events, and yeah, I've always been drawn to the Porsche, you know, like as far as European cars go. It's well documented that I'm not really a European car kind of guy, but I've always enjoyed watching the Porsches run, and I'm hoping that with this car we'll now get a series that we can run in that is somewhat GT-like, and hopefully this thing will appear in some of the special events on the calendar, so we can have a crack at it in this car and get a chance to drive it every now and then. Certainly very different to drive a bad supercar, not surprising really. And I will just say, anything that I've got to say about this car, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm probably the least qualified person to tell you anything about these style cars, what they're like. I don't have much experience. I've driven the GT3 cars, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've driven them. I initially was very interested in doing it, and did even do one of the Blanc Paint Pro Qualifier events last year in the rough, and just struggled desperately. Actually, it was quite embarrassing. Can't remember where we finished, but it was not a good drive by me. And you know, you have to put the time in these sort of cars if you're going to be good at them. But I've certainly been interested in this sort of racing, but just never put in the time to learn it. So subsequently, my knowledge is not that good when it comes to how these things drive. So I can only tell you my impressions based on what I know and what I've driven before, what I think it should be like. So just be mindful that I'm probably not the right person to be telling you what this car is like, but I'll give you the tip right now off the bat. It is a lot of fun to drive. Well off the pace, I'm aware of that. Just running the default iRacing setup, and certainly not setting the world on fire for lap times and things, but it's not always about being the fastest. I'm just here having a little bit of fun, and I know that V8 Scops has announced today that they're going to be releasing a Carerra Cup style support race series for the V8 supercars this year, so that will be exciting. I'm looking forward to watching, and depending on what the regulations state, possibly even jumping in and having a drive at some events. But it is a lot of fun to drive. It doesn't drive like the other GT3 cars, namely the Rough. I've driven the Rough and the Mercedes.
We're about 5 out, about 5. 2 minutes 11.266.
They're the only cars that I've driven. I haven't driven the BMW, and I haven't driven any of them a lot, but this doesn't feel anything like it. The thing I used to get really frustrated by was coming up to the corner and spinning out oversteer on the entry to the corner, the GT3 cars, and this doesn't do that at all. The no ABS deal is certainly tricky, especially in the big stops like at the end of Conrod Straight here at Bathurst. It is hard to get the thing to stop. Very easy to lock tyres. But the other thing about it that I find fantastic, and this is not something that I tend to think of iRacing for, but that's the sound. Historically, iRacing probably hasn't been one of the standouts when it comes to having tremendous sound. This car sounds awesome. All the little details that it's got in it, little whines. The tyres, you hear the tyres working under brakes in the corners. The engine itself, the gear shifts, and all sounds really like everything together. Makes for an unbelievably good sounding car. With the exception of the backfires on the gear shifts, I think this thing sounds bang on with what it sounds like in real life. See, just locking up a brake all the way down, unable to stop. Get on the power nice and early.
2 minutes 11.52.
You can really give it a bootful. The one thing I've found about this car is you absolutely have to just wring its neck to get speed out of it. You have to drive it really hard to go fast. You have to turn in early, you have to brake really, really well. You have to be confident, basically. The car is very understeery compared to what I'm used to driving, being rear engine, a lot of weight in the back. And of course I'm used to the V8 supercar, which is all power, not much traction. So it's a lot more understeery than what I'm used to. Oh, got the wall there. Just a little. I will say that what I would expect from a car like this is something that feels really rigid, like really hard suspension, and kind of to me feels a little bit soft almost. But I really like that. Now whether or not that's accurate or not I don't know, but I like how it feels fairly soft in the corners. Too deep again. Oh, we just got that one stopped. I'll pull into the pits here because I've got a bit of damage now. So one of the things that tricks me a bit is how good is the limiter sound as well. One thing that tricks me a little is the left-hand drive. I'm not used to driving on the left-hand side of the car, especially at Bathurst. The walls seem to grab me. Stop here. Jump out, we'll quickly request a new car. As you can see, quite a lot of damage on the right hand side. Wings all bent up. Did get the ball pretty good at the top there. Even that sound there, it's cool. So I'll do an out lap here, and then I'll try and go a little bit quicker. I'll try and do a faster lap. I'll probably end up crashing, but I'll try and do a little bit better lap, not talk and concentrate. I don't tend to do all that well at both at the same time. Now obviously one of the problems we're talking about with not having speed can be rectified with setups. People straight onto it, I'm sure. Finding ways to get this thing to go fast. Corner there, the understeer, it just gets me quite used to it. Little brake clock off the curb there. Loose under brakes, the dipper. So yes, overall, my impressions of this car are very positive. It is a lot of fun to drive, and I hope to see it do well. I hope to see the series that iRacing are going to run for this car get a lot of participation, and I hope to see it appear in many events, like the special events and things like that. I'd like to see it get used. I'd like to be able to get the chance to go and drive it, because it's by far the most enjoyable of any of the GT style cars I've driven anyway. So here we go, we'll try and do a decent lap. A decent for me, it's probably going to be a 2:10. We'll see. It's so rewarding, it's just this track, let alone the car. When you get it right, so rewarding. And although I'm a long way off the pace here, a couple of seconds a lap at least, it's still awesome. Weird to be able to hold the flat through the exit of the chase. Terrible last corner.
2:09.886.
Yeah, 2 minutes 10 is about as good as it's going to get for me. Having only done a couple of laps in the car, that's probably not too bad. Just not crashing is the goal. And yeah, I'm 2 or 3 seconds off the pace, I think, from the fast guys there, but that's okay. One other thing that I haven't really touched on is the feedback. So like the force feedback through the wheel and all that sort of stuff. It is really good. It's very strong. Feels more alive than most cars is probably the best way to describe it, I think. Which I guess you'd expect from the newest car iRacing is released. They seem to get better and better for that. The steering's quite heavy and loaded. And when you get to the bumps, you certainly feel them. And I'm only using a G27 as well, by the way. Not exactly a superior wheel. Very much budget entry-level wheel. I'm sure it gets better and better for those of you who have got really good gear. Alright, let's wheel it into the pits. Oh boy. So that's a few laps in the new rough. The old Porsche 911 GT3 Cup 991. It's great to have a proper Porsche in iRacing finally. Let's go ahead and have a look at the good lap that we did there, the 9.8. Just watch and listen to this car from the outside. I haven't really listened to it much from the outside, and it's pretty close. That sounds really good. You do get a little bit more of that backfire sound on the gear shifts as well from outside the car. Just see how tentative I am across the top. There's lots of time to be made. The guys at iRacing have been talking up this car. They've been saying that it's going to be good. The research they've done into the dirt stuff that's coming soon has really helped the development of this car. And I think they've been pretty happy with it, and I can sort of see why, because it is a fantastic car. A lot of fun to drive and a lot of fun to watch, really. Ah, that sound, it's so good. Anyway, I'm going to call an end to the video there as we watch the car come across the line at the end of that lap. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, albeit not probably that informative. It is my opinion on the car, so if that's valuable to you, then you might have learnt something. But take what I've got to say with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm certainly not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to this sort of car, but my opinion, it is a lot of fun. I love it, and I hope to get some races in it. Not only now, but sort of going forward. It'll be good to get some more laps in this car. Hopefully get to run it at some of the big events on the calendar for V8 Scops as well, but we'll see about that. But that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.